Hey guys, welcome back. So I'm sure you've all heard the news. Activision Blizzard was bought by Microsoft. And this is one of those things where it's so big that I feel like I gotta at least do a casual chat about it, which is very much what this is gonna be. And I'm coming at this not as an expert or anything like that. I'm just a guy who loves video games. I've been playing them for 30 years. So naturally, I'm gonna have some thoughts about a deal like this. So first things first, holy crap, didn't see that coming. I thought they were supposed to fucking buy Sega. That was the big rumor I kept hearing about, that Microsoft was going to buy a Japanese studio of some kind. But now it very much feels like they are consolidating kind of all these Western studios under one umbrella. And this is a move, once again, it's been said many times, that only Microsoft could make. Yes, Sony could maybe buy Square Enix or Capcom or Sega or Konami or Take-Two or CD Projekt Red or something like that. But Sony's only got a market cap of like 200 billion. And then Microsoft's got like 2.3 trillion. So with that kind of move, yeah, everyone's going to be kind of worried, because how does Sony or Nintendo compete with something like that? They don't really. They maybe make some smart moves and buy some of the smaller studios out there. And as awful as a portent this is for the industry for video games, I can't help but be fascinated by something like this, because this is very much what's happening in the TV sphere. You got Netflix and Amazon and Disney buying up all these properties so they have them all under their streaming umbrella. And with Microsoft's Game Pass, it's very much moving in the same direction. They're just getting all that content and they're playing the long game, right? They're playing that long game. They're looking super far into the future. And Sony, and to a lesser degree, Nintendo's just off in the corner, playing by itself, doing its own thing. They're just doing Nintendo shit. They're Nintendoing it up right now. And Nintendo's probably going to do something none of us expect, because that's what they always do. But Sony, I think, is going to respond with something they have to. And I really do that Microsoft was out there looking to make a purchase, and then Activision, obviously, with all the bullshit that's happening in Activision Blizzard, their stock prices fell. It seemed incredibly chaotic. Their workers are extremely unhappy. They're having protests all over the place. They're screaming for Bobby Kotick to step down. So it was just a fantastic opportunity for Microsoft, and they jumped all over it. And consoles, they're going the digital way. Physical ownership is going to be a thing of the past. Everyone's saying it, and I think it's true. And that makes me really sad, because I love physical games. Like, I'm an old school gamer. I love having my limited editions, just my physical copy to hold in my hand. And that's going to disappear. I'm hoping it disappears after I'm dead, but it's probably going to happen sooner than that, unfortunately. But no, Microsoft, they jumped on this opportunity, and rightfully so, because it's all going to be about streaming eventually, because you have Google Stadia, huge colossal failure, but they were very much going in the right direction, that streaming direction. They just had no IPs to back it up with. But now you hear Netflix is looking to get into gaming. Sony is rumored to have its own Game Pass coming up. So it's all going to be about getting those properties under that streaming umbrella. And Microsoft is just ahead of the game. They have that, as my buddy likes to say, Naj, they have that huge war chest, and they're not afraid to use it. And they're going to keep using it. And it's only a matter of time before something else is dropped, because if you didn't think them buying Bethesda or ZeniMax was the first domino falling, this is obviously the first domino falling. And there's going to keep falling after this. I would have just have loved for it to have been a Japanese company like Square Enix. Just to see the firestorm that would have erupted from that, particularly from Japan. I would have been incredibly upset about that. Don't get me wrong. I don't really want Microsoft to buy Square Enix. But it just would have been a fascinating watch. Just grab a thing of popcorn and just let that play out. Oh, be fucking wild, man. Be absolutely fucking crazy. But that's not to say that's not going to happen. And I almost feel like with Microsoft, they're buying all these Western studios. They're very much cementing their place as a go-to for Western gamers. And then part of me is saying like, oh, is Sony going to buy all the Eastern companies? So we're going to have like an East versus West streaming Cold War, Sony versus Microsoft. I don't think that's going to happen simply because Microsoft has way more money at their disposal, and they've always wanted to penetrate the Japanese market, and they've never been able to. Well, what better way than to buy Square Enix and have freaking Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest be Microsoft exclusive? Holy shit, how much that would piss off Japanese gamers. Holy Jesus. I don't want it to happen, but if it did happen, I would probably just enjoy the fallout because it'd just be so fucking insane. But I think, if I had to make a prediction, it would be Square Enix is going to buy Konami. They're going to get Konami's properties. Square Enix, I think, is the absolute must play for them. I think that is a no-brain play, and they got to try and make that happen. And possibly From Software as well. Sega, I can see them going Microsoft. And Capcom, that's just one I don't know. Capcom, I can see kind of them being bought by either. But Sega very much I could see being bought by Microsoft. Absolutely. Just for them to try and penetrate the gaming market in the East. I can very much see the Yakuza and Sonic franchises just being under that umbrella. But we'll have to wait and see. And then another thing I've been seeing is people wondering, is it going to be exclusive? And I think even Phil Spencer has said we don't want to rob PlayStation gamers of their games. And he said, I guess to a certain degree, there will be multi-platform titles still from the Activision Blizzard umbrella. Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. Call of Duty, Diablo, freaking StarCraft, all that stuff, Overwatch, it's going to be Xbox and PC exclusive. I know there were naysayers with the Bethesda purchase, they wouldn't dare. They'll still go multi-platform. Then even I'm like, nah, my money was firmly on them being console exclusives. And I know this is a much bigger deal. A lot more money's been spent, and these properties are a lot more profitable than some of the ones they purchased from Bethesda. I get that, but at the same time, they're going to be exclusive. They're absolutely going to be exclusive. Maybe it'll take a bit of time, but that is where they're going. Absolutely. Yes, they might hurt themselves a little bit by not getting those PlayStation copies. They're going to want to deprive their competition of those IPs. That will happen. And it's so fascinating to wonder who's next, who's going to be bought. I know Sega's been a big one. EA is another one. And nobody, freaking Sony, Microsoft, don't buy Ubisoft. Don't waste your fucking money. I've played Ubisoft games. I've enjoyed some of them, but by and large, what a waste of cash. Just let Ubisoft die or buy them for a dime or whatever. Don't go for them right away. There's so many better developers out there. Just don't even waste your time. And with Activision Blizzard being bought, I got the feeling too that they really weren't making the most of their IPs like Warcraft. Everyone's really unhappy with the state of WoW right now. Maybe we could get a Warcraft 4 from one of the Activision Blizzard studios, be developed there. Maybe something with StarCraft. I know they're making a new Diablo, but there's a ways away. So with Activision Blizzard being bought, I'm not super upset by that. It's the direction the industry's heading in that scares me more than Activision Blizzard itself being bought. I think maybe hopefully Microsoft can do something with those IPs. It'd be like Sony buying Konami. They're not doing anything with Castlevania or Metal Gear Solid or friggin' Silent Hill anyway, so someone may as well buy them. And then they can do something awesome with those IPs. Yeah, so my long game prediction is Microsoft buys up the majority of these Western developers. Sony gets a good share of the East. And then Microsoft maybe gets one or two in the East as well. Sega and maybe Capcom or something like that. It's just an absolutely fascinating time to be a gamer. And I'm so sad for upcoming gamers too, because and for myself personally, I'm so glad I wasn't born any later. I'm so glad I was born the year I was in and I got to enjoy the consoles I did when I was younger. I'm glad I was part of the Super Nintendo, like Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1 generation. I'm so happy I got to grow up with that, because I do feel kind of bad for the gamers that are upcoming. Yes, you're going to have so many great things like streaming services. It's going to be so affordable with the Game Passes. It's going to be so accessible, especially for all those old games I got to grow up with. I'm just very fearful of what games of the future will look like, especially if we get the monopoly stuff happening. I don't think, once again, with Activision Blizzard, I don't think it's going to be stopped. I don't think it's going to run into any antitrust issues. Just based off of everything I've been reading, it's very much a vertical acquisition versus a horizontal one. But I don't think there's any hope of them being stopped. But no, and at the end of the day, Bobby Kotick, He's getting his golden parachute. All those execs are. Anyone who's mad at that or really surprised at that, how could you possibly be? That's just the type of world we live in, even though he's in Epstein's black book or whatever. I heard that shit too. But no, fuck me. Fascinating time to be a gamer. I've just eat this shit up. It's so fascinating to watch. Just been reading so much about it and what it means for the industry and where we could be heading. And it sounds very dystopian and scary. And the naive part of me was like, oh, maybe they're done with the Bethesda purchase. After this, they're not done by a long shot, and everyone else is going to jump on board. And we're going to be seeing some crazy acquisitions in the next couple of years. But it's going to be a lot longer till we see how all this pans out and what it looks like. It's going to be 5-10 years in the future, but we will see it one day. And the ink isn't even dry on this until 2023, this deal. So it's going to be a while till we see anything tangible in terms of what this means and the results from it. But fuck me, it's a fascinating time to live in, guys. Anyway, let me know what you think. I think it's scary and it doesn't bode well for the type of gamer I am, but I can't help but be fascinated and wonder where we're going. I just really hope that Microsoft does a lot of good things with these IPs. And I hope Sony can try and match them to some degree. They obviously won't be able to match them tit for tat, but I hope they can make some smart plays. And Nintendo is just going to do the same crazy shit they always have, and they'll probably somehow be fine. Because that's just the way they are. They're just in their own sphere and they're impenetrable, and it seems like they're impervious to outside influence some fucking how. And I don't know if I said this. Let me know what you think in the comments. Love this shit. See you soon.